This level by far has the lowest completion rate in the entire history of Mario Maker 2, and I'll show you what makes this level so hard and how I became the second person to ever beat this level. This level has a couple of extremely difficult sections that makes it almost impossible to beat, which is why the clear rate is so low. But I actually found multiple shortcuts to make the level easier than intended, and I don't think anyone else has ever discovered this upcoming shortcut, which saved me 10 seconds. This key I have right now is supposed to open a locked door in an upcoming area, but I'll be able to skip that door entirely. But right now, I perform this tight mid-air P-switch jump to bounce up this bomb so I can grab it as I enter the pipe, and I can use it to destroy this enemy blocking the path. Entering this door actually lets me hold on to the bomb for longer so I can break a block with it. Now here's that skip I mentioned before. The P-switch timer is supposed to stop right here, which would activate this contraption down here that would activate the switch to block the path, forcing me into the key door. But I actually speedran through the previous section so quickly that the switch doesn't get activated, so I can just run past this door and keep my key. Behind the door that I skipped was an area where you have to do 2 frame perfect jumps, which is hard. And skipping this section allows me to not lose this shellmet, which is great because keeping the shellmet lets me do an unintended shortcut later. But right here, I have to precisely use Yoshi to grab all these red coins and continue jumping through the level. And now I'm about to show you the weirdest and perhaps the most creative way I've ever cheesed the level. You're supposed to stall in the air about 3 times faster than what I'm showing here, which is nearly impossible. But I outsmarted the level creator and came up with a slightly easier method using the shellmet on Mario's head, which I kept by skipping that room from earlier. With the dry shell in hand, I can drop it on Mario's head to bounce it. Then I can keep the dry shell alive by wall jumping under the spikes. This is really difficult since I'm off screen while juggling the shell on my head with incredibly precise controls. And I have to match with the off-screen timer so I can get on a platform that appears right here so I can enter this door. Since this is the lowest clear rate level, it's arguably the hardest in the game, but luckily I made it a little easier by having the shellmet when I wasn't supposed to. And since I skipped over that key door from earlier, I also still have this key, which I can use to skip another part of the level coming up. But for this part, I just have to damage boost on these spikes and make my way over to the pipe. So in this part, I can use the key I've been holding on to. Now I can skip the intended key in this section, which is harder to get. You're supposed to drop this P-switch, ground pound to line up with it, and jump off it mid-air and twirl to the platform. Now with the extra key, I don't need to go for the other key using that P-switch, making this easier. And as I run through these last sections of the level, remember that whenever I achieve something like beating the lowest clear rate level in the game, I like to celebrate by putting something up on my wall that symbolizes my achievement. And for me to beat this level, I stayed inside my house playing it for weeks, so I put my house on my wall. So technically I did beat the level that had a 1 in 512,000 clear rate in the past, but that level's clear rate wasn't legit. That level did fool a lot of people, but you can see me expose the level creator's tricks here.